Thank you for coming back to the Soul Dojo Gaming Channel. I'm your host, Curtis Russell, aka Cali Soul, and I got a special guest on the phone with me today on this great Friday. My man, G Allen, aka Jamal Johnson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine, man. And you know what? I forgot to tell you yesterday. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. Happy anniversary, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'm
So,
truly blessed.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So today we are talking about visceral games, EA completely cutting them out, completely getting rid of that studio, and what that really means, not for this Star Wars game that everybody's been hyped up about, but what does it really mean for Dead Space 4 and the Dead Space franchise altogether? And I have a YouTuber and that I watch for Dead Space, and just one YouTuber to another. I really appreciate your work, JKP Rising. You the man, because it's hard to make a YouTube channel wrapping around one video game, but one video game that isn't being made every year or so often. And I can, and he's still making content. I can really appreciate that. But he had a really good point on his YouTube channel. He was like, if they would have made this Star Wars game, EA would have kept pushing. They would have been like, make a sequel, make DLC, make this and this, and it would have made, Dead Space 4 kind of push back. And, he was just like, at this point, he's a little bit more hyped at the fact that they're cutting this out and EA's just getting the IP itself. And they're hoping that, he's hoping that, like you said yesterday, Jay, that the developer, that EA actually sells this IP to another developer, which if it's outside of EA's campus or inside of EA's campus. And I'm pretty actually hyped about that too. The only thing is just like, does EA care enough about this franchise to give it to somebody and then fund them the money to make it? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot more going on outside that has affected Dead Space from continuing, from Dead Space 3. You have Disney sitting here, like Disney getting, the Star Wars license, all that stuff, and then EA's like, yo, let's get the Star Wars license. Let's capitalize on all this money Star Wars making. So let's start making Star Wars games everywhere. And right now, I'm a little optimistic about it, like you said yesterday. And there's so many games that are in a worse kind of situation, kind of like Scalebound. I don't know if you heard that game that Microsoft was making. I think me and you talked about it before.
I think, kind of a brief mention of it.
Yeah, Scalebound, like, I was going to explain to you yesterday, but I saved it for the YouTube channel. Scalebound is in a situation where some things are owned by Microsoft, some things are owned by Platinum Games. This isn't the case for EA. This isn't the case for Dead Space, EA Visceral Games. This isn't the case. EA solely owns Dead Space.
Yes.
So I'm super hyped just for that reason. And what are your thoughts, kind of like, on this whole situation, this whole EA fiasco with Dead Space and Visceral Games?
Okay, so kind of like I mentioned yesterday, one of the biggest things that I guess you can say is really puzzling to me is that we look at it that the Dead Space series has lasted for past 5 years. Came out in 2008, Dead Space 3 finishing up in 2013.
Right.
And during that time, actually looking at it, during that time, there was, let's see here, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games between that 5-year period that Visceral Games had made. And this was when they were formerly known as EA Redwood Shores.
Wow.
So there's
I didn't even know that.
6 games that were made. And these games, some of these games are, some pretty big names, I would say.
Battlefield Hardline, right?
Yeah. Battlefield 3.
Oh, wow.
Endgame, Battlefield Hardline, Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel.
Oh, wow.
The Sims 3, Dante's Inferno. And I mean, I'll even throw, The Godfather in there is a pretty notable one. It's probably not the biggest one, but there's all these games that were made during this time. Now, we heard, if I'm right, and you correct me, that there wasn't much information on Dead Space 4. Like, it was a complete, just utter quietness for, like, years. A year or two before they ever said something. When they did say it, I'm not sure that they actually really mentioned it. More of they said, okay, well, you know what? We're going to have Retro Games work on this new Star Wars game. Now, here's the problem with that bothers me, is that I don't know what this Star Wars game is, because the Star Wars games that I know of that EA is sending the funds to is Battlefront. Battlefront 2 just came out. Now, if I'm correct, this new Star Wars game, when they were trying to hit it during the hype, has been in the making for a while. We know at least 2 years.
Yeah, or more.
And it could have been before that.
Yeah. What we know about the Star Wars game so far is that it was story-driven, and I guess a lot of people wanted that. And I guess that's why a lot of people are upset, because they're like, well, this is the Star Wars game we wanted.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm looking at this, and it's, I'm just a little lost on this, that if what is going on inside of, EA headquarters, that this was, okay, well, we're going to set out Visceral Games to make this new Star Wars game, this new story-driven game. We're going to capitalize off of the new Star Wars movie. We're going to do all this hype. And then 2 years later say that, you know what, we're just going to disband these developers when they're supposed to be working on this big game that's supposed to be bringing us in so much profit, which now in turn is not only disbanding the new game, who's going to get the new Star Wars game, and as if you could easily disband this developer, this group, and pass off the game to another developer, then it just shows that how much money you're losing out on, because now this game is going to be delayed. The Star Wars games, the people who do want this, but also we missed out on a great series of making. Dead Space, everybody loved Dead Space, and I mean, Dead Space only got better each time around. I think, for me, and I was sitting here thinking about this yesterday, that Dead Space 3 was like just the out of all the co-ops we have played together, and we have played many, tons and tons of co-ops together. It's hands down like one of the best. I'm giving it top 2. Halo's up there, but Halo has some things, but the way Dead Space 3 truly made it a co-op. Like, I mean, when you talk about, it was a different experience for the both of us. We both weren't seeing the same thing. We were both getting teleported to different worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just so groundbreaking for me. So you're talking about a game that has gotten so much hype. The Awakening DLC, that adds on to more hype.
Oh my God, the way it ended,
And then you look at it, okay, you know what, the hype is real. We would be fine with, okay, you know what, we're going to take about another year or 2 years to really make this next Dead Space 4, get all of our DLCs in line, get this gameplay so that, you know what, we're going to hit it hard, because people are going to buy it. So now you missed out on that, making fun for that. But then again, like I said, the way EA thinks, I mean, you look at just their sports games, that once they have their eyes set on something, whatever they think is going to make the most money, which in turn, usually it always does for EA.
Yeah.
And that comes down to the consumer. The consumer not really caring what it is. You look at the FIFAs and the Maddens, we buy it every year, you get nothing changes at all about the game.
So at this point, say if EA does give the Dead Space rights to a developer, an in-house developer, we're still looking at a 4 to 5 year plan for Dead Space 4, and we don't even know if it's going to be as good as like what Visceral Games is making.
Exactly.
So we don't know. Let's say if they give it to Studio 33, which I believe did the Kings of Alamore series. If you know that series, you know what happened with them, financial problems, whatever. But if they gave it to them, we are looking at basically 4 to 5 years. Now, this is what to kind of, because we're in the 10th minute. This is what we're gonna start ending it out. But this is what I kind of think EA should just do. And they should basically give it to somebody that they feel that can just continue this series. They need to back it up full-fledged, and what they need to do while we're waiting is to remaster 1, 2, and 3. Name it the Dead Space trilogy. Give it to PS4, Xbox One, Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, whatever. And get us reminded about how awesome Dead Space is leading into Dead Space 4. You're going to make a good amount of money out of it, and a lot of people are going to buy it. They're going to buy the trilogy, and because I think just right now you can only stream it on PlayStation Now, which is it's I mean, depending on your internet connection, your experience might be different. But make it, and people are going to love that. And I'm not trying to get off topic, Jay. I think that's the biggest thing I don't want to do, because I can go on for hours about what EA's decisions are doing to certain games. Like, what happened to Mass Effect? I'm scared for Dragon Age now. So for any listener listening, like if you're a Dragon Age person, like have faith in Dragon Age, because BioWare is working on Anthem right now, and I don't want them to branch out a small team from Anthem and make a Dragon Age game, because when that happened, they destroyed Mass Effect. And then they blew off that team that destroyed Mass Effect Andromeda, and now BioWare is a smaller company for that. So it's a scary time in EA games, to be honest with you. And if you just from what do you suggest that EA should do as we end this YouTube podcast out? What do you think they should do, Jay?
Well, based on the space, is that for one, they should do exactly what you mentioned. That's actually a great idea. Kind of add in, this trilogy. It's been years. You can only stream it on PlayStation now. And really, make it really appealing. Like I said, build up if you need to, to kind of really get the people that didn't really jump on the bandwagon of Dead Space back then that don't even know what Dead Space is. This is the perfect time to bring it up for them, especially with all the Halloween coming around, or even next Halloween or whatever, and kind of really building up, make a couple promos, but also in terms of, I don't want it, like you said, in the sense of how they did Mass Effect. Don't pass off Dead Space 4, because you have a lot to come off of here. So either it's we do it in-house, or even those guys that were part of this, or I don't know how, if it's some kind of miracle, that they're able to find another publisher that would be able to fund this. I would much rather that, because, this is 5 years worth of a series. This isn't just, any game that you can come in on. It's just like Mass Effect. Any game you can just come in on and kind of think, okay, well, you know what, I'll just put some stuff here and there. No, you have to be doing bigger and better. So hopefully my hope is that if they do sell it to somebody, if they do give the rights to somebody in-house, that it is someone that's familiar with the game, whether it's fans or whatever, that has a real creative idea. Even if they can make it better than what Visceral Games has planned out, that would be even better. But they have to do something along those lines. We can't just lose Dead Space 4.
Yeah.
For a bunch of mediocre games that are coming out now.
Perfect. I want to end off by saying that JKP Ryzen, I'll put his YouTube and I'll put the video that he was talking about this situation in a link in the description. I do appreciate what he's doing. I really do, because he's getting everybody that is a Dead Space fan, he's getting that whole community to just continuously having faith in the Dead Space 4. He's grabbing people that used to work on the game and trying to interview them. So the work he's doing God's work, man. And I really do appreciate that. And Jay, I really do appreciate you being on the phone and giving me your perspective on this whole situation. We'll see how it all plays out. And if anything goes on with Dead Space, we will get to you right here first time on the Soul Dojo Gaming channel. Jay, I appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, man. And make sure you subscribe. Thank you. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like that video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the Soul Dojo Gaming channel. We're going to have a lot more coming. We're going to have your gameplays, reviews, and first impressions of all the hottest games releasing. So you guys have a good day. Peace.